In reality, only a select few individuals hold the power of influence. Not a pounce over a luxury item never to be owned, but real influence over police, governments, and even clandestine fraternities. My true story is so controversial that I invite you to comment and even question my integrity. Episode 24, Lord Trapp. Everyone was pissing themselves, laughing out loud, and security ran down to help Mark, the debt collector, back to his feet. I just stood to one side and finished the drink, looked around and thought, fucking hell, this isn't the sort of crowd. I've got people going to get pissed and fucked up and all the rest of it. Fair enough. My club, any club, that's great. But for fuck's sake, if you know these people are around, you got to fucking do something about them. I emailed the yacht senior contact, Paul Ross, the following day. I won't see what I said, but he was basically fucking not interested. And I haven't spoken to him since. Michael apologised, embarrassed, but it was my view that these are his people. You know, he was embarrassed because it was me, because he was trying to get somewhere with me. But you know what, in reality, he'd probably laughed and thought it was part of the fun. That's the reality of it. The thing is, though, that the word on the home club continues to flow at the dinner parties and luxury brands, but no one knew where or even when or how to join. This was just as I had intended it to be, to keep the club private and exclusive. Lords, ladies, now royals interested, the home club as a profile, a cachet, a tone, and this had not been seen since the days of Anna Brocklebank and the debutantes ball that she'd created and still attended. The home club was developing an old money attitude with modern flavour, modern tech, communication. It was generating trust throughout its network. This is where I would place the trust in me and my family, which was forged during the times we were tested. You've heard them, and that's one of the reasons I'm creating this podcast, to explain why my club is what it is, and some of the shit I've had. And fun times, remember? There's been a few of them, and why not? My contacts were both serious and prestigious before the home club, but now they were extending into and beyond the social elite, and they loved it. The mystery, the intrigue, fun, frolics added to the fact that for membership, it wasn't just a matter of course. You couldn't just come in, you couldn't be invited in the front door, wander into contacts, the usual old hat from fucking private members clubs. No. You had to be invited. You had to be approved. And it was that was the coin of this club, not the means in which to buy your way in. I don't know whether it was the amount of people taking interest or whether I might simply have been getting used to these people. I then received a contact from a man claiming to be Mr. Rockefeller. Now look, I admit, I was surprised. I had some big names calling up, and here was another one. Mr. Rockefeller wanted to join the home club and introduce his family contacts. Now, I was a bit dubious that a Mr. Rockefeller would call up, but perhaps I'd undercooked my business. Perhaps it had become that prestigious that even the Rockefellers and others were banging on the door trying to get in themselves, rather than their PAs or their chief of staff or whoever who would just get fucked off. Perhaps that's the air I gave, and it would have been all right. PAs, EAs, no, you can't come at me, you can't get through me, you can't get through my people, get in, no, it's direct. I took the call from him. Mr. Rockefeller, I said, it's a pleasure to speak with you, and I'm grateful for your interest in my club. I must make this obvious to you from the beginning, in that I require proof of your identity, please. He laughed, and he continued to go through his life story from parents, birth, schools, friends, associations, and companies that his family owned, including Coots Bank. Look, I completely understand, I replied, and also completely appreciate that you are who you say you are. But it's simply a requirement of joining the home club for potential members to go for a very detailed check. And the first part is purely confirmation of their person. He came back, even harder. Haven't you heard the name? He interjected. Yes, of course, I said. And a great name it is, as are all the others hoping to enter the home club. You, along with the others, will surely appreciate that I'm checking you in the same way that I've checked them. Doesn't this give you any comfort? Oh, I think about it. And then he hung up. You know, whilst I felt sad that such a person may have slipped through my fingers, and other members would be very happy to be introduced to him and vice versa, the thing that comforted me most was the fact I stuck to my diligent position, and I would do so in the future. Everyone else in this market wouldn't have cared a fucking bit about having this guy walk through the door. They'd all put him through with open arms, red carpet. Well, that's how they behave. My club doesn't. Friday came, and I received another message from Karen, out of the blue, and telling me that she was actually travelling and on her way and would arrive at my house at 10 o'clock in the morning. I was a bit shocked. I hadn't mentioned it or invited her, or if I had, I'd forgotten. Probably that. She wouldn't just turn up out of the blue, I'm sure of it. But anyway, I was lucky I had nothing on, or if I had, I took her with me. It didn't matter. We had some fresh orange juice. She arrived, plucked up fresh orange juice. And she gave me a gift of some healthy coffee in bags, I think it was, that she'd been trying to sell to keep her family fed. After coffee in a bag, we left for the tennis club. Now, Karen was a very good player, and somewhere between, she was at the upper ends of Daria, let's say. Daria's pretty good. And whilst I'd only played a couple of times with Adele, like you can imagine, she was playing in the Wimbledon club a lot, regularly, and she had tennis coaching and all that stuff. So not quite Adele standard, but look, it's not a metaphor, whatever it is. And she was pretty good. Karen was great. We enjoyed a fine lunch. The female bar staff at the club was giggling, and they were nudging the maitre d' again, Paolo, his name was, I should have mentioned his name last time, to get over and ask, introduce himself to Karen. I think he took a bit of liking to her. I mean, it wouldn't, just stunning blonde. He said hello, giggled, and I bumped him up a little bit. I said, this is Paolo, he's a great guy in here, don't listen to any of his nonsense and all that. We had a little bit of fun, and he felt really uplifted and confident afterwards. He said he did. Karen and I went back to my apartment, where she mentioned she'd brought an overnight bag if I wanted to have a drink with her. So I thought about it for a while, but that wasn't anywhere near that long. And before she could close the boot, I said, yeah, let's have a go. Why don't we go and have a couple of drinks now, and then we're going to the sauna. Now, she hadn't actually said yes to joining the home club, and I wondered if it was that kept me somewhere in the game, because if she'd have even mentioned or whiffed the fucking word, yes, I'll join and work for you, I would have been fucking finished. Friend-zoned again. I was not in the friend zone at that point. She hadn't said yes. I don't know if it's some psychological thing. I'm sure there's more psychological things to this, and if you're examining it, then fucking please be kind. So she put on a bikini, and I'm sure many women carry bikinis in their cars, just in case, but Karen had clearly thought about it. Or perhaps it was a look on my face that knew it was safe to bring a bikini. I don't know. We entered the lift back into my apartment. I ran her a bath, poured some wine. She checked on her children, and I left it to it as I placed the candles in the bathroom across the hardwood floors and opened up the balcony to overlook the Thames. We sat there and just cuddled up on the sofa and watched a film, and she went home the following day. I spent Sunday walking along the river and into Battersea Park. I was sitting on a bench and just watched the world go by. I just felt relaxed. You say relaxed? Yeah, it's one of those emotions that I hadn't been accustomed to. I thought was relaxed, but I think that was just kind of, not worried or anything, I was taking things they come, however drama, however crazy or lively they were, but I make a point of feeling relaxed because it was a different feeling. It was a feeling that I was carefree rather than having to sort of drop the shoulders and say, this is it, this is what I'm doing, which is different. I no longer thought about my conviction or the dramas that had been handed to me, nor did I think about being constantly monitored by the police, home security system, the CCRC, HMRC, the police, anyone. Didn't think about any of them. I'd even forgotten about Operation Westminster. How stupid. How fucking stupid was I? Anyway, I looked around. No wallets. Just the Buddha statue in the London Peace Pagoda at Battersea Park. Monday, it's here. Switch on. It began slowly. I was still in a kind of peace mode. Buddha had affected me. Along with a few tennis bookings and some messages from Karen, I was in the giving mood, and I boarded the river bus on the jetty outside of my apartment, and then a short walk into the city of London to meet with Michael at the London Capital Club. Michael noticed my relaxed demeanour and said to me, "You're not getting older, Winnie, are you? She's on my radar." I mean, I thought I'd fucking laugh it. If I did, I wouldn't have stopped. His quip just snapped me out of my Zen moment and back reality. No, I'm not, Michael, no. And I think you better ask her before making those comments, because I think that someone else is chasing her. When he had told me that the general manager of the London Capital Club, Simon Russell, had been contacting her for a date and was jealous that she mentioned her tennis hits with me. When he wasn't interested in either of them, she just concentrated on her child and making money, and a little bit of tennis. Michael then recapped his previous proposal as to whether I wanted him, Mark, or Russell to join the home club board. He reiterated, "I am the director of several companies, chairman of many others, and very connected in the private security industry. Also, there are many businessmen in the City of London who would give their right arm to have me on the board. Now, before he could continue, I asked, so what could you and Russell add to my company? For example, as I'm not interested in Mark, I'll tell you that now. He replied, Well, Russell will be managing director and I will take the position of chairman. Russell will create the business plan and financials and I will oversee the company, leaving you to create the contacts and future development of the home club. Between Russell and I, we will bring in finances via investment, depending upon the proposed financial potential of the company using our global contacts. Now, I thought about it for a minute, and I had to agree that the aims of the club was to retain a trusted community and to develop the business globally. Finances were, unfortunately, required, as was a new tech company, as I'd fired Anthony due to his unprofessional behaviour, added to the fact that whilst allegedly in breach of contract, he had contacted Nottinghamshire police and reported me for harassment. Fucking hell, same old little grass, I thought. So instead of coming to me and writing to me and say, whatever his beef or grief was, he didn't want to do that. He rushed to the Nottingham police and made up more allegations. Now, fortunately, similar to the West London police, they just fucked him off. So whilst, in my view, the old bill were no good anyway, there was a couple with some common sense. I had first-hand experience of all this rubbish, and it's either that Nottinghamshire police gave me up without pursuing me on this, or was working towards a much bigger agenda. The full bomb. The full fucking Wurlitzer. Alright, forget this. You're only thinking about it because you've had it, I thought. You expect it. Is it real? Your intuition again. What does it feel like? What do you think? What do you feel? Well, I actually feel that something's coming. Then trust it and be careful. These are the thoughts running through my mind. Look, I said, I'm very interested and grateful to both you and Russell for considering joining my company. If you want to introduce any investment, then I'll obviously remunerate you for any introduction. Michael continued, let's discuss all that once Russell has told the good news, and I would say that we meet up in advance to confirm this agreement. Agreed. And we plan to meet up again at the IOD. At this time, Bert phoned. He said, I've booked tickets for the London Motor Show at Battersea Park on Sunday the 7th of May 2017. Would you like to bring B along? Oh, I'd fucking love to. I contacted Miss Havisham and she must have had something life-threatening not to be able to attend when she agreed that I could have contact with our daughter. In any event, I was so looking forward to seeing her. When I collected her, she had grown, she was cheekier and more beautiful than ever. I'm so proud, I thought. As we chatted along through Wandsworth and into Battersea Park, Bea was then introduced to her cousin who she loves and carried him around the event, even though he was quite heavy for her. She would often get upset when he was taken away from her, but would soon recover, pulling my arm and ask me, come on, Daddy, I want to hold him again. Whilst there's so many amazing cars on display, a replica Aston Martin from David Brown Automotive caught my eye, along with those from other people, as did the Bentley Sports. I took business cards from both stands and inquiries kept the salesman busy. I decided to make contact again to see if they'd like to join the home club as affiliates. We'd enjoyed a great family day. Russell had been updated and was thrilled with the news, and as were the rest of us. He flew down from Scotland to meet with Henry and me to discuss the final projections together. The meeting was convened to agree the basis of revenue created in business by the home club. Russell and Henry settled on the position and potential value of the business, bringing the cost of investment at $103 million for 20% of my shares in the home club. Hang on, $103 million for 20% shares in my company, my new company that hasn't got a platform. And no, that's right, they said. It's a £1 billion company. This is unbelievably amazing. Why do you think we're all over it? Okay, I was catching up. You think you can sell 20% shares in my company for $103 million? Russell carried on. Not only do I think that I can sell 20% of your shares in the company, making you a very, very wealthy man, but I can guarantee that. Hang on a minute. Did you just say guarantee? I did, he replied. Can I just put that to you again, Russell, I said. Are you saying, just in case I've misheard something, that you guarantee to bring $103 million for 20% shares in my company, the home club? That's exactly what I'm saying. I've already spoken to a number of investors, a City of London family office, and a Silicon Valley platform company, and they all want to buy in. You're going to guarantee that? No. I thought, oh, fuck it, I've got something wrong. Both Michael and I are going to guarantee it. So you have a lord and myself. Fucking hell. $103 million. I mean, that's just for 20% of my business. What have I got right? I thought I got it all right. This is only an early development. I have plans for this business. 103 million for 20%. I said, look, I'll tell you what, let's draft something and see if we can get going, eh? Fucking thinking like my mind was racing, obviously. I was fucking, too, honestly. Again, as ever, I was thinking of the house I could buy and spend time with my child, family's houses, I'd buy them, and cars and all the usual things you think about when you are contemplating what seems to be a lottery win. Looking after people, putting back in the communities, finding a way of doing that. All these scenarios as I left. I met again with Henry at his offices, and just to go over the previous meeting, we spent hours scribbling away on the wallboards and again arrived at the previously calculated projections. And according to Henry, based upon achievable numbers and a detailed report handed to me by Russell, he said. Henry stood back, sat on his boardroom table looking at the wallboards and said, look, there it is. I've forwarded a copy to Steve Foster. No, I didn't know to tell first. A couple of days went by and I received a wave of resignations from 5 of the team. George Bond, Az Hakim, Wenny Gang, Richard Knights, and even Nicola, the senior brand ambassador. They all seemed like the scenario I'd seen before with Tom Kark wanted to leave. Do you remember it? All my clients in my building company wanted to leave. Left. Cancelled contracts. The same thing is happening again. Fuck, the wildest are just as I'd met. We're about to hit the dizzy heights of 103 million. Guaranteed. All the contacts, all the everything, the home club, everything. This time though, I had experienced what happened next. So I knew, or I thought I knew, how to manage it. This was the system. Operation Westminster. People in the shadows working hard, staging my downfall. I can't keep going like this. Surely they are not still concerned about the evidence I've got on the police and government, fabricating a murder case, fabricating my case, dangers to the UK ports, arms, immigrants, bringing in, fucking, and justice on appeal. We'll get to justice on appeal in a minute. Kaya, Victoria, Barbara, Helena, Rhea, Henry and Jeremy remained, whilst Karen took the role of brand ambassador for wellbeing and introduced me to 2 of her contacts, Troy Quidentell and Alex Buick. I arranged an AGM and chaired by Michael and attended by myself, Jeremy, Rhea, Alex and Troy. I met with Victoria Salem at the Holiday Inn in Mayfair on the 16th of May and she asked me if she could have a copy of my business plan and projections. What the fuck you want that for? It's nothing you're doing. How do you know about it anyway? Things were rolling. I started to hear the noise, the Wurlitzer, faint in the distance. Buzzing, that noise I couldn't forget. The noise of my demise I'd seen before. Canvas getting closer to my face as I hit it. The count, what would it reach this time? Would it get to 10? Could they really take me out? I had 9, 9 and a quarter, 9 and a half, 9 and 3/4 in the past, but got up. It was on. Something was happening. On one hand, the tightrope had become so minute, it was like a fucking hair. On the left-hand side, I had the fucking world in front of me. On the right, I had the fucking world against me. I then received an email from Mr. Rockefeller. Dear Darren, good morning. I've spoken with my lawyers back in the States. He says that he practiced law in the state of New York but could tell with great certainty that the display of any kind of passport is uncommon and unnecessary. However, I am willing to do the following if you only consider it vital. I can briefly display my passport and an in-person meeting. The alternative to that would be a scanned picture of the cover and front page, which will display photo, first name, surname and black spots, which will cover the rest of the details. I want you to understand that as much as I want to do business with you and join your club, there is a specific protocol to my family that follows regarding the distribution of family information. I am the holder of diplomatic passport, which also adds to the confidential protection. Unquote. Once I received the ambassadorial passport from Mr. Rockefeller, yes, he actually emailed me it, and accompanying utility bills, I was also sent a proposed mandate for the Christina O, the Onassis yacht, by him. Again, things continued to move fast. Michael and Russell were even more intent to be intrinsically involved in the home club. I met with Michael again at the IOD and discussed a draft contract. I was told both he and Russell had already discussed investment with their contacts, and they confirmed again that there was interest in the purchase of my shares. We were the perfect team, I thought. I squeezed in a game of tennis with Rhea. I was relieved when Russell confirmed that it had been reworked, the business plan, and that he had started dialogues with Pivotal Labs and Silicon Valley Bank, and had organised a meeting with a couple of London family funds. This is all consistent, I thought. On the 5th of June 2017, at the Institute of Directors, IOD in Pall Mall, London, Michael, Russell and I signed the contract whereby both Michael and Russell personally guaranteed, very important, to sell 20% of my shares in the Home Club Limited for 103 million, effectively underwriting the deal. A photo of all three of us was taken standing in the main staircase at the IOD and out in the terrace, and we concluded the meeting. Russell then left for Silicon Valley to deliver on the contract, and over the next few anxious days, I received an email from Russell confirming that he would update and distribute the business plan, whilst Michael sent an email within minutes of the IOD meeting when we signed the contract. Russell then confirmed that the minutes were an accurate representation of the meeting. I couldn't tell you, I felt like celebrating. Tennis was on the cards. I'm fucking alive. 103 fucking million. 103 fucking million. Guaranteed. Contract signed. I twitching and fucking, I think I'm even bubbling myself. Blah, 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 fucking going like a crazy fucker. You know what I mean? 103 fucking million. For 20%. It's got 80%. billion pound company. Fucking rolling. Ain't even got a website. Well, it's such a shit website. It's fucking not what we're talking about. Certainly no platform. Because another part of the deal was that they would have a Silicon Valley tech company obtain an extra 10% of those shares to develop the all-inclusive AI version of the, oh, fuck me, I was done. I was there. I'm fucking rolling. I stopped for a minute. I heard something. Did you hear that? Is that the word? No, that's me. No, it's 103 fucking million. I'm going to go and celebrate, and I'm fucking going down to the tennis club to have it large, and then I'll see what happens where I get to after that. It was time to visit the Wimbledon club. On Saturday, I was invited by Tony Prince to attend the American tournament. It was sunny, barbecue had been arranged for the members, and about 26 of us decided to go over there. After tennis, we all sat at the long table in the clubhouse, crisply ironed white tablecloth. In front of us, burgers arrived, traditional strawberries and cream, dessert, the wine was flowing, and I decided to get the place going because I was fucking bubbling. I couldn't wait to fucking start pissing it up. I was fucking so excited. I went to the bar and ordered 8 tequila shots, to the shock of the bar staff. I mean, they were fucking, they obviously went out when they were in their own manners, fucking doing whatever they do. But, I mean, the Wimbledon club is a little reserved in that place. I mean, tequila shots, straight, fucking lemon, salt, tray. They're all like, oh dear, it's fucking going to get extra dangerous in here tonight. But they loved it. The wine continued to gush, and so did the rounds of tequila. More lemon, more lime, more salt, however you want it, I announced. One member, a great little tennis player called Alicia from Chelsea, Chinese lady. She'd never tried tequila before, believe it or not. And just after 2 shots, she started calling it Chichina, which of course then became her nickname, Chichina. The band member, Eric, you remember him, the singer at the White Party, Wimbledon Village? He was having fun. He placed his head on the table, sticking out his tongue whenever each tray arrived and placed on the table. I've got photos of all this. His partner, Georgie, who had been on the front cover of the Darling magazine for social ambitious women in Wimbledon on the 1st of November 2016, was also tapping on the table, singing away. A member of the tennis board, Jeff Wakefield, also joined in for a tequila or so. He used to run David Lloyd's events over in New Malden. The place was buzzing. I could see as I looked over towards the bar, Georgie had got up and jumped onto the stool, stood on a stool at the bar, demanding more trays of tequila, shouting back at us all, "We've drunk the Wimbledon club out of tequila, hurrah!" Henry shouted back, "Get the fucking vodka going then." It was fucking chaos in there. It was perfect. It's lovely like that, isn't it? When it's all double straight and it's fucking going off in a mad one. And look, I can be a little bit cheeky at times, sometimes. I didn't want to spoil the fun. So I made it my duty to ensure that more alcohol was consumed than ever in that club. I stuck my card over the bar and just said, let them have it. As I did, I sat down with a small group of women and started playing up. I must admit, I was teasing them. They had a few drinks about some story I'd made up on the spot about a competition at an old tennis club I was a member of, which I wasn't, about who had the best tennis legs. It was a load of fucking old rubbish, but it was getting everyone right at it. And they was all up for this competition. Firstly, looking down at each other's legs and all the rest of it. And then I'm going, we've got, you have to put your leg up there. And they go, oh, fuck, you can imagine. Do you want me to tell you? All right. put your leg up there and the other one has to go and put a tequila on the fucking lemon and salt, and then let's do a vote, and I'm the voter, I'm the judge, and they're doing more and more tequilas and licking it off each other's ankles and fucking their knees. Then it was fucking messy, but fun. From out of nowhere, and with the flow of this bubbling, cheeky, Essex boyish East End banter, pissed, I said to them, I don't know where it came from, don't know where the fuck it came from, I was just fucking talking absolute nonsense. Did you girls know that I was once a salsa dance teacher? Now, I'd made this tequila comment, and as I said it, I thought, fucking hell, I hope no one heard that. It sort of straightened me up a little bit. I wondered if I'd get away with it. I looked around, it didn't seem like anyone fucking heard me. I definitely didn't have to prove it. So, it was so fucking spectacularly far from the truth of being a fucking dance teacher. It was laughable. And just as I went to sit down again, thinking I'd fucking got away with it, who worse to fucking pull me on it? I looked round, it was Adele. She turned around, she kept reasonably quiet. She played the game with her legs and stuff. She got fucking very naughty about it. And she turned around and she said, I'll tell you what, she said, let's all go to Hemmy's in the village. Then you can show us girls your moves, Darren, and maybe teach us all some new ones. A little wink she gave me. She was fucking at me. She knew she had me as well. Fucking knew she'd done me. Like Hemingway's. It's a cool little hangout for the local Wimbledon hit crowd in the Wimbledon village. I hadn't been there before. Well, much. I hadn't been there past it a few times, so I used to go north. I didn't go back to Wimbledon to drink. But this place had a look. I would have done if I'd known about it after going there. It had a smart mix of attractive clientele. You had amazing soulful house, dance music, a bit of food. I didn't try it, but now Adele had been flirting with me for a while now. She was fucking sitting next to me for all that little gamble going on there, all that little chit-chat stuff that I was just telling her. She was sitting next to me, so I was surprised. I thought I'd get away with it. But I thought she was looking the other way talking to someone. She obviously wasn't. Or she was. She's got fucking good ears. She was probably flirting with me. And I just, I was fucking gone a little bit. You know what I mean? In every way. She's probably cute, attractive, fun, cheeky. You're proper banter you can hear. Now, during the evening, I played a few little friendly games with her. And, now the alcohol's back and, we're flirting a bit too much and thought, fuck it, 103 million contract, who gives a fuck, blah, blah, blah. I'm here to enjoy. Let's go and enjoy. I'm going to bring everyone along with me. All right, fuck it. She just looked too good. Forget all that nonsense. Perhaps I've been drinking tequila while I'm talking now. No, she just looked fucking unreal and I was in the mood. And forgive me for all that. Now, in amongst all the chaos, I'd forgotten that Adele, being a PA to the senior executives of Ernst Young, had also, whilst being pissed, but she probably had at lunch with her bosses, arranged all the cars, 3 Ubers sitting outside. Right? There's no end to her talents. Each of which had been planned to take us to Hemmy's. Alright, so come on Darren, hurry up. We want to see that salsa dancing. Shaking their shoulders and fucking probably taking a piss out of me, and I was fucking, I'm in trouble. I'm in fucking trouble, going to any dangerous little fucking madness, but like, this is gonna fuck me right up. These cheeky girls are gonna fucking get me. Right, so I thought, right, fuck it. Get in the cab. So I've jumped in one cab, 3 chicks have jumped in at Adele, and it's just left Mario and Eric and another geezer in the other, one of the others, or the other 2. So anyway, it was about, 9:30 on a Saturday night in Wimbledon Village. Busy, to say the least. Hemmy's is buzzing. Usual crowd. Right. I can hear the dance music as I'm walking up to the double doors as we get out of cabs, and, as I open the double doors, there's fucking dance floor straight in the bar. As we're all looking round, I've realised that fucking we're all still at our tennis set kit. We're on a night out, fucking in a trendy little bar. We're all walked in a fucking tennis kit. Bag of rackets on their shoulders, and this funky club scene, right? Not a great look, but, let's say it was appropriate for the area. It's fucking Wimbledon after all. Anyway, the tequila had taken effect, the air and this and that, and Adele went up to greet a friend who was the manager of the Hemingways. And then she arranged, again, she's on fire. This is what she does. She arranged for all of our kit bags to be stacked to the back of the bar. And she'd also arranged for us to take all the fucking VIP tables down the left-hand side of the place. You can't get them. She's just come walking in, fucking took a lot of them. So as I walked in, I said, tequila? One of them's gone, I'll have a pint. Couldn't drink another fucking half a shot. It was paralytic, I'll have a pint. One's gone. The other one's gone, make one of vodka and Rebel, large ones, blah, blah, blah. So they're all going, right? And as I'm looking up thinking, no, Adele's forgotten, right? And everyone else has probably misheard or forgotten what she said. And I'm looking around thinking, I made that comment about the dance moves. till women are in the fucking right in the mood for a party. I think I've got away with this. As I looked up from my seat, I could see the 3 girls standing at the fucking upper side of the table, and they're looking at me and they're going, "Come on, we're ready now." I went, "What?" Dels piped up, "Come on, Patrick, time to rock and roll." Eva, another one of the tennis crowds, said to me smiling, "Patrick? Yeah, you know, this is fucking Patrick Swayzee, or Darren Swayzee we can call you. Come on, get up, show us all them moves you're talking about, come on." I was fucking busted, proper. 3 birds down there. The geezers are looking at me, their mouths open as it would say, with fear, a bit of empathy in their eyes. I slipped out from the side of this fucking table, and their expressions had switched to, "God help you, son," and I've got a sense of, "Please come back in one piece." I sensed the feeling not too dissimilar to the boaties at the ladies' night in the Cali when they decided to fucking serve the women at a strip night. I was starting to feel a bit anxious. In this bar, on this night, the girls ran this bar. It was obvious. They just bowled in and fucking took over. I was just right man to see. Actually, they just literally walked in and fucking went, that's that, this is how we're having it, that was it, and it went like that. Immediate. Brilliant. With that, the DJ was ordered to play something suitable, which turned out to be Maria by Santana, featuring the product G&B. Play it, you can put yourself there. It was my problem now, the challenge was now on. Somehow though, with the mood and the fucking tequila and the music, definitely, it didn't take too long to get into the groove, right? Come on, look, the fucking good looks from the women I'm dancing with and their enthusiasm for the music. Who needs fucking alcohol, right? The moves began, reasonably relaxed, but then, one by one, dancing with all 3 girls, the music and everything else, they was getting a bit passionate, right? A bit heated. The mood intensified. Eric and Eva pulled Georgie to one side, who was getting far too into it and upsetting Adele, actually. They said, I could hear him, even above the music, "You're in a relationship. Stop dancing like that," or words to that effect. Adele, however, was intent on keeping me interested. So I made sure I also danced with Eva. As the party intensified, Adele was standing waiting, wasn't happy, but giggling at the prospects of what was going to come. I got deep into the mood, the Latin moves, and what I thought they were. And as Eva stood to one side, Adele moved in, slipped her fingers in between mine, pulling me closer and closer and tighter with less time apart. Things may have easily gone further had it not been for a male voice to pipe up. "Come on you, it's time to go. You got to do dinner for our friends tomorrow and we need you on top form. Come on, get out of here." We both took a moment or two to come out of the zone that we'd created after a year or two of flirting and innuendo. Adele later called this her Cinderella moment, where she had to go back to her chores and prepare for one of their infamous parties at the top of Wimbledon Village. Listen in to each episode as I engage you in my personal journey of how a boy growing up on a council estate in Essex would eventually own the most exclusive online private members club in the world.